is this is a carrier that the fingerboard gets stuck onto, and then this sits in here, and I can then cut it just like that on the table saw. This rides there.
Yeah.
And then this will just, I can cut in less than 2 minutes. I can cut any scale length between 24 and 26 inches, and I can change the scale length that easily. And then these lines are drawn on here. So this allows me to, this is a modification of the jig that I use for my fan frets. This is, in other words, this is the jig that I would use for my fan frets, but I've created this new use for it. It came to me at some point. And this is way useful. The way that I cut, the way that I actually cut my fan frets is I use this jig. And I guess this is a fixture, not a jig. And yet, I'm going to sit here, but it also rides in these slots on these rails. And, you know, it's just a cob together thing. But in the case of this, I have a series of other templates there.
Yeah.
And what I do with those is I double stick tape the fingerboard onto one of those and onto the bottom of this, as it were, so it's underneath there. And then this piece, I did turn it around backwards, I thought I'd flip it the other way. This piece rises up and allows me to push it through and drops it into the slot. So
I see, yeah.
Yeah, so that I can run on the table saw. And again, I can cut a fan fret, but it's specifically this fan fret system.
right. Yeah.
However, I can skew the board, the fingerboard on the bottom of the jig to change where is the perpendicular fret. And between the two of them, it's working pretty good. And I made a bunch of.
But these are made with what, the table saw?
No, this was cut with a
milling
this was cut
machine?
with a milling machine. This is cut with a table saw. These are stuck together. I may spill the beans here. Let me see if I can get it out. Okay, I made a bunch of Corian. A cabinet maker of my acquaintance gave me a bunch of this Corian in exchange for having one of these. And the way this, so this is the actual piece that I use with this, and I double stick the fingerboards on there, and then these lines are for where I want the perpendicular fret. Once I lay it out, I like to not have to lay it out again. Can you see kind of how that works?
Yeah.
Now, and this one is a smaller off. This is, I think, not this offset. Oh, it is though. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So you need a different template for every offset that you want. So
I only
if it's
have
a 1
done-
inch offset.
Yeah,
then-
I only do 2. I don't go with an inch. I think that's wrong.
And so every time you put it through, this comes up and this goes down 1 and goes back down, and you run it through.
Here, I'll show you exactly how it works, because we've got it all out now. Have we pulled this? Oh, somebody, yeah.
This
There's two
system
things.
actually works really well by just starting at a different spot for 0 for smaller instruments.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because
you
it's
can
all the
just
same.
start, wherever you're starting, you can start here, and then it works for a 17-inch scale. 10.
Right.
And
Ukuleles.
because this was laid out this way, of course, I do have perfect, if it's perfect, and I sometimes wonder. But I have relatively perfect scales with using this system. But I wanted to show you the other system. That thing on the back. Thank you. And it goes this way. So this drops in here, right? This would take a fingerboard. Let's see if I can find one. I'm not going to actually cut it right now, but I'll get that later. I make my fingerboards 1/4 of an inch. It turns out to be the right amount. And this would then be stuck on there, right?
Gotcha.
This lifts up and drops in. Boom.
Right.
Just that quick. And then I run it through the table saw. And by the way, if you make a system like this, run it through. Do not pull it back. Yeah. And so then I would pull this out, take it out of the fixture, pull the fixture back, put it back in. But it means like ka-ching,
Right.
ka-ching, and it goes really quick. Because I never got indoctrinated to the LMI system, I'm afraid. I don't
To the
know.
what?
LMI's system, which a
Oh,
lot of
of
people
templates.
use. Yeah.
LMI, StudiMac, and
Yeah.
all the
There's a
same.
bunch of systems out there, but man, this works so well. And I don't know if it works better than theirs because I don't know what theirs really is.
It's the same
This
thing,
works
except,
better than theirs.
except
so.
for each one of the.
Yeah, it's essentially
Yeah.
the same idea, just
Yeah.
indexing something.
Indexes, yeah.
Yeah.
This
But what made you
this
say-
idea, the modification of the original, this was my original idea, and then I thought of this at some point, and this is clever. I mean, if you were to like emulate any of these ideas, this idea is worth its weight in gold, because you have then, as I made it, it goes from 24 and 3/16 to 26, but if I'd known that I was going to have this idea, I'd have made it bigger. Both smaller and larger. But the thing is,
Did
it
you have
allows me
somebody
to,
mill it up for you, or did?
I had it milled by a guy I know as a
Uh-huh.
CNC, a guy who created his own CNC machine, including the program.
Awesome.
Really nuts guy.
Yeah.